Crap, we're this close to finding Rowdy's whereabouts, and we gotta go ahead and do this episode. Okay, let's get it over with and get back to the search. Okay, our feed is patched into Austin, and we are on standby.
Are you sure we want this person hosting the show?
No, but we're in a beggars can't be chooser situation. Stand by and action!
Welcome to TV Trash. Really? That's the best intro my brother could come up with? So yeah, it appears my brother went nuts and is out on some vision quest or maybe a rampage or something. I don't know. We didn't keep in touch much after I moved out. So the point is that they want me to do his review show. At least I'm getting to review something I know a little bit about. When most people think of Bruce Willis, they think of this rough action hero that fights terrorists on Christmas. But this is where he got his first break, playing the wisecracking scoundrel detective Dave Addison on Moonlighting. Dave was the head gumshoe of the Blue Moon Detective Agency, which was owned by ex-fashion model Maddie Hayes, played by Sybil Shepherd. Shows featuring detective couples were a big thing in the 80s. But Moonlighting's twist was that the real theme of the show was how Dave and Maddie were always at each other's throats, and we all knew they really wanted to bang one another. And yes, this plot element carried over into a few other shows. The show did get really goofy in the later years, with openings that frequently broke the fourth wall, and it really lost its charm when the two finally did end up doing the do. But that doesn't mean we can't still have fun looking at Moonlighting. What? Dreamlighting? What show is that? An episode of what?
We're the Chipmunks. Alvin, Simon, Theodore.
Oh, good grief. So yeah, it looks like we're dealing with another 80s show instead. Alvin and the Chipmunks was this cartoon that was about 3 giant talking teenage chipmunks that had their own rock band. Yeah, that was the stuff we had in the 80s. Although I'm told the characters actually first started in the 50s, when this singer decided it would be fun to speed up his voice while recording it or something. So let's find out what all of this is about as we look at the Alvin and Chipmunks episode, Dreamlighting. So this episode begins with Alvin's girl counterpart, Brittany, looking like she's about to, well...
There. Just enough.
Are you sure this isn't one of those dirty parodies that came from one of those websites?
Darling, where are you? Our favorite romantic detective show will be on in a minute.
Yeah, she's planning an entire romantic evening around a TV show. That's almost as lame as watching TV shows just to criticize them on the internet. Wait. But boyfriend Alvin says he's gonna be late due to shooting hoops with his buddies. Brittany takes it pretty well.
Basketball practice. Basketball practice.
5 seconds of proving hell hath no fury completely tires Brittany out as she falls asleep, and suddenly we're taken to...
Half Moon Detective. We're glad that you called. Don't care if you're short or fat or bald. I know that my rhymes are a bit of a bore. That wasn't the phone. Gosh, that was the door. Excuse me. I have an appointment with Mr. David Alvinson. Mr. Alvinson isn't in at the moment, but I'm sure his partner, Miss Brandy Hayes. I've had it!
Oh, I get it now. This episode is going to be a Moonlighting parody. Does Rowdy allow drinking on this show? Damn it. So yeah, Alvin and Brittany are stand-ins for Dave and Maddie, with Simon's girl counterpart, Jeanette, playing the secretary, Agnes DePesto. Theodore's counterpart, Eleanor, plays this client who works for a big company owned by Simon LeSimon. Gee, I wonder who's gonna play that role. Who's all concerned that Simon is married 7 times and all of them ended up in prison.
why come to me? Well, this morning, I noticed several pictures of you lying on his desk. Miss Snoop, I can assure you I have many admirers. After all, I was, am, a famous model. There was something funny going on, since you were in the same file as this mysterious character called the Nose. What's going on with all my stuff? My genuine autographed Magic Johnson basketball. It all goes. And don't forget, so do you. You can't fire me. I quit.
Who wants to bet they do this at least once a month? And despite the fact that she was just warned by the last client about the type of guy Simon Simon is, she immediately falls for him.
You are the only one to symbolize my new Ode to Dream perfume. You are my dream girl. Ah!
You're kind of a bimbo, aren't you, Bratty?
And yet, the clock of love has no second hand. The clock of love has no second hand? I better keep an eye on this guy. All right, here it comes. The Big Chief!
Looks like his car's a lot like his women. Nice looking on the outside, but nothing where it matters. With Bratty Hayes having turned gold digger, Alvin is the one left to aid Miss Snoot's case involving Simon and his connection to this person known only as the Nose.
All of Mr. LeSimon's wives went to the slammer, right after the honeymoon. LeSimon? Reserved for Bratty Hayes.
This leads them to crashing the banquet, where Simon is announcing the launch of his new perfume to be modeled by Bratty, who is now his fiancée? For crying out loud, Bratty! Even if you don't remember the little detail of all his wives ending up behind bars, you're just gonna go up and marry a guy who's had 7 wives after dating him a week?
What in the name of are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Were you thinking?
Ladies and gentlemen, a detective show if it was written by Benny Hill. The scene wasn't completely pointless because Alvin grabs Simon's address book, which allows them to track down the Nose, who naturally is played by the only chipmunk we haven't seen yet, Theodore.
Nothing goes out without passing my nostril. Ah, scent of amor. Ah, aroma of love. What do you know about Ode to Dream? You mean the highly explosive rocket fuel?
Rocket fuel? So get this. While LeSimon's company was trying to make their next big perfume, they accidentally duplicated the formula for an experimental rocket fuel. One so powerful that dropping a vial of it would level New York City. Who knew Mary Kay was so good at creating weapons of mass destruction?
I told them that no one but the government was to have it.
Yeah, but instead of giving a sample to the government immediately, he's kept it stored in a cupboard that he keeps unlocked and open near a window so someone can reach in and just take it.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
So this is what these internet reviewers are about, huh? Making wisecracks while throwing in clips from obscure movies? Oh, no wonder my brother can't get a date.
We're gonna lose half our fan base from this review.
Let's just go to commercial and pray we have any viewers left when we get back.
So let's recap this. Simon Simon is a criminal businessman who has 7 times tricked the cops into blaming his wives on his crimes because they're idiots. Now he's targeted Bratty Hayes as his next patsy, and she's falling for his scheme because she's an idiot. And his scheme revolves around a top-secret rocket fuel that he was able to steal from an aroma expert because he's an idiot. This plot is driven entirely by idiots. There should be some sort of name for that type of thing or something. Sure enough, Alvin returns to the office to find that now, rather than firing him, Bratty is quitting the agency to go marry and work for LeSimon.
Goodbye, David. You know, it's a funny thing. A guy can have a record album, a starring movie, a commercial deal, and then one day, he just doesn't feel hip anymore.
Okay, a couple of things that have bothered me about this. Remember, this is all taking place inside Brittany's head. So she's imagining herself as a loudmouthed witch who can't see what's right in front of her face. Yeah, I'd say she has self-confidence issues. And there definitely seems to be more Brittany in this character than the one she's parodying. Yeah, Maddie Hayes could be a stuck-up elitist shrew, but she was no bimbo. Often at times she was solving cases just as well as Dave was, and was definitely not looking to get some man to mooch off of. Hell, she was the one using her charms to get stuff out of the suspects. Oh, good night. I'm not even on this web episode for 15 minutes and I've started thinking like one of these reviewer dorks. It's like some kind of contagious disease. So after another night of root beer binge drinking, Alvin decides he has to be the big damn hero and stop LeSimon's plan.
You're wonderful. I know. And don't forget this. Personal property of Miss Bratty Hayes. In no way connected to Simon LeSimon.
Because that's not gonna look suspicious towards Simon at all. And Alvinson's plan to stop LeSimon involves hijacking the shooting by turning it into a root beer ad with dancers dressed as giant bottles that can actually pour root beer. Go ahead with your clip. I got nothing.
What the hell is that?
That's not perfume he's got there. It's rocket fuel. And don't anyone try to stop me. I'll see to it that we all go to the moon. David! Help! Somebody, throw me my basketball. Mr. Alvinson! No! Don't try it! I'm not going to try, Mr. Pest. I'm going to make a basket. The perfume! The highly explosive rocket fuel!
So yes, the show is not blown to smithereens, and Alvinson gets to be the big hero saving the girl in the end. Isn't there one of those feminists on the web who would be offended by that? Annie Sarkeesian or something?
I'll drift anywhere with you. Tell me how much you care for me, David. I can't. Why not? You know why not. Because if we start getting along, this won't be America's most popular romantic detective show.
Okay, credit where it's due. That stuff was in the show. Especially since it looks like this episode first aired a year after the infamous Dave Maddie hookup that sent the original in its downward spiral. So yeah, that's kind of a funny jab. And the episode ends with Brittany waking up and Alvin having finally arrived, likely stinking up the place because he didn't shower afterward.
Let's watch some TV. There's a basketball game on. Just kidding.
So yeah, a moonlighting parody from Alvin and the Chipmunks. And yeah, it's pretty dumb. Admittedly, that's probably the point, since it's a parody. Still, the plot is really contrived and dependent on a lot of characters operating without brain activity. And the characters act more like the actual Chipmunks than the ones they're supposed to lampoon. It turns out there were a lot of episodes this season that lampooned other shows and books and other stories. So it's probably the big sign that the Chipmunks were on their last legs. But hey, I've heard there's more than a few animated shows out there today that are far worse than this. And let me tell you, there was some even crazier stuff that was made at the same time. Bro?
You will all face my wrath and feel my misery. All hope and happiness will be destroyed.
There is the sun and moon. They sing their own sweet tune. Watch them when dawn is due, sharing one space. We'll walk by night, babe. We'll fly by day.
Hey, girl, you in there anywhere?
What happened? Oh great, that shot made me colorblind?
No, it didn't.
What's happened here?
Whatever Rowdy's become, it looks like he's eliminating all the color in the world.
I know what's happened. He's been murked.